All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Bitcoin Brief with your host, Tone Vays. Coming to you live on my last day in the US before heading off to Dubai for understanding welcome to another Bitcoin. I still messed it up. It's I think Lex, you started on the big screen first. I don't know why that is, but weird. Yeah, so you can see the background behind me, and I should have been using that all week, but it's last time I get to use a green screen for a little while. All right, anyway, guys, let's jump onto the show. We got the usual crew with Bitcoin Mechanic and Jimmy Song. I shot off the link to Giacomo Zucco. Maybe he will, join us with his presence in a little bit. How you guys doing today, guys?
Yeah, I'm good, man. How about you, Jimmy?
I'm doing well. I just came back from the Oslo Freedom Forum, which we'll talk about. But yeah, it was really inspiring, and yeah, it's amazing to see what Bitcoin is doing.
Yeah, that is good. How did I? Sorry, guys. What did I do last time? Oh, I know what I did.
Let's watch Tone
figure
out how to do Zoom.
No, why is it doing that? Why is it doing that to me again? Shoot. All right. So I'm not able to share application. I have to share a screen. So now I got to make sure I don't dox anything. Unfortunate. All right, we're good to go. Speaking of the first topic, let's talk about the.
Oh dear.
Are we good? Are we?
We're live, but you're coming in very staggered.
I'm glad that wasn't on my end, though.
Yeah, I don't know.
Tone just dropped out. Oh god.
All right. Okay. I think Zoom's bugging out. All right, let's try this again. Okay, here we go. Now it's working better. Now it's working better. Okay. Yeah, it was something, I don't know, Zoom like just crapped out on me. Okay, now we're in business. So the Oslo Freedom Forum, Jimmy, you were there. I've vaguely heard of the Oslo Freedom Forum. I never expected it to be, in Miami instead of maybe, I don't know, Oslo. And I had no idea the Oslo Freedom Forum had become a Bitcoin maximalist conference, which again was a huge surprise. You were there, BTC Sessions was there. I actually got a chat with him coming up after this because he's coming to Dubai for understanding Bitcoin. Matt Odell, we can forgive Peter McCormick.
No.
It's Stefan Lavera. And so this looks like a great event. Tell us about it.
Yeah, so the Oslo Freedom Forum is normally held in Oslo, but obviously when they were planning it, Norway was more closed and it was more difficult for people to get there. So they moved the event to Miami. But yeah, it had a lot of human rights activists from around the world come. And it turns out that Bitcoin is becoming a much bigger part of human rights than ever before, because all these governments are oppressing a lot of these human rights organizations by taking away their bank accounts and so on. So, we were there mostly to, give the information that these human rights activists would need in order to set up the right financial structure so they could be their own bank and get donations from abroad and things like that. But yeah, it was a great event. Lots of Bitcoin people. The last time I went was in 2019. I think there were like 10 or 15 of us there. This time it was closer to 100. So really crazy numbers of Bitcoiners at this event, all talking about freedom in places like Venezuela, North Korea, Nigeria, and Nicaragua, and Belarus, and all these places. Very interesting. You can go take a look at my speech that I did, or the fireside chat I had with Stefan Lavera. But yeah, it's kind of unreal to me that I'm a coder and I'm speaking at a human rights conference. But yeah, very much enjoyed it. Very good conference, and they'll do something similar next year, I'm sure.
Yeah, and I'm usually in Miami. That's where I spend the majority of my time when I'm in the US. But because I'm flying out to Dubai out of New York, it's a lot easier to fly out of New York or New Jersey. I couldn't make it. But I also had I didn't plan for it because I had no idea this was happening, nor it was gonna Bitcoin was gonna be so important. It would have been absolutely awesome to be there with human rights activists. Lex, any quick thoughts?
No, I mean, I wasn't there. I didn't really know about it. I was confused that it wasn't in Norway as well. But yeah, it's obvious. Bitcoin is human rights technology. Its application is so profoundly obvious in that field, and it's like you say. There's so many organizations that struggle. Like this is one of the how would I say, like, one of the initial things that got Bitcoin rolling was its ability for people to get money to WikiLeaks when they couldn't receive donations. And WikiLeaks is a perfect example of one of these persecuted organizations that was subject to an attack by the financial system. So, and you remember that famous quote from Satoshi, it would have been nice to get this attention in any other way. They've kicked the hornet's nest and now the swarm is headed for us. And, in the end, we survived it. But there's just so much application that Bitcoin, or so much utility that Bitcoin offers to people that find themselves outside the financial system. And in the end, it's to their benefit. That's what's so great about it, is if you adopt Bitcoin, because you've been persecuted by, Visa and MasterCard and PayPal and all these institutions, you end up winning so much. Like, you might not have even been interested in Bitcoin, but you're forced to use it, just like kind of El Salvador is, right? Because they're treated so badly by the IMF and all this stuff. So it's kind of nice. It's underdog technology in that regard.
Yeah. So Jimmy, is this an annual event? Does it always take place in what month are we in? Early October?
No. Usually it's in May, and it does take place in Oslo, and they have human rights activists from all over the world. So one of the things that they're known for is they've been talking about the Uyghur Massacre for the last 10 years. And it's only really in the last few that it's sort of caught even a little bit of mainstream attention. I got to talk to a Uyghur family, and oh my goodness, that it's unconscionable. Wow. What is happening over there, but every country.
Sorry. I am so not familiar with this. What is a Uyghur family?
You don't know the
Uyghurs are a Muslim minority that are in China, and they are being sent to concentration camps in China.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that was I've heard news on that. Also,
yeah, it's spelled weird. It's like Uyghur, okay, or something like that. Yeah. But it's pronounced Uyghur. But yeah, they are a completely persecuted minority. And China is just arresting all of them and sending them to concentration camps. It's unconscionable, and this is happening right under our noses. We have all of the evidence that shows that they're disappearing and all this other stuff. There was a heartbreaking story of this Uyghur woman who was talking to her mom pretty much every day, and then just one day her mom stopped answering phone calls. She was like, "What the heck happened?" And turns out she went to a Uyghur concentration camp. It's absolutely, the thing is, a lot of Western countries, a lot of countries period, are afraid to say anything because they know this is a sensitive issue.
Well, right, especially since China was added, to the Human Rights Council in the UN, where China is reviewing the human rights of the Western countries about how to treat other people.
Yeah, I mean, there's a Holocaust going on right before our eyes, guys, and it's unfortunately a lot of people just don't want to deal with it. A lot of the media are basically puppets of China and so on. So it's really a sad story.
I agree, and it's not. I don't think it's hyperbolic at all to say it's parallel to 1930s Germany, and it's amazing how the world is turning a blind eye to it. There's footage on YouTube of a guy that was a B-list celebrity in China that was a Uyghur, and he got arrested and taken to the concentration camps, but he somehow managed to sneak a smartphone in there, and he uploaded footage of what he would do or what his days were like, and it's just 24/7 announcements saying things like, this has always been a part of China. You are Chinese. You are not Muslim. You all this like force-fed propaganda. There's these children that are in classrooms that are age 4 or 5, having it beaten into them that they are Chinese and that they love China, and it's heartbreaking stuff. It really is. This forced sterilization of the women, it's super messed up. Like, I can't believe it, and the fact that it's not a serious. There's like small movements. Don't buy China, like websites that give you alternatives of products you can buy. If you want to buy something, type it in, and it will say, "Here's how you buy it," but not made in China. Made in South Korea or even America or something. But it's amazing, right? That's how you would change it. That's how the South Africa situation changed, was just economics. It's always economics, right? So if people would stop buying stuff made in China based on this, we could fix it in 5 minutes. But it's just, it's not seeming to be gaining any momentum.
Yeah, it's hard. I'm not going to get too political, but our current administration is very pro-China versus the last administration, which was a little bit hesitant towards China. So it'll be very interesting where we go next.
Yeah, man, I want to just add a little bit. Trudeau in Canada is so pro-China that I think there was an award that was going to be granted to a Taiwanese person. And the proposition of that award going to someone in Taiwan was enough for Trudeau to quit that organization, to officially pull Canada out of that organization in protest. That's I've never seen such a more subservient move to a dictatorship than that.
Oh, yeah, no. Canada is completely pro-China. I mean, they almost have to do that, right? Not to be taken over by China one day, which they might be at current pace.
Yeah, there was an artist there that made these like posters that I think would be hilarious for you to pull up. But it's protesting basically the 2022 Winter Olympics and just showing just the human rights violations of China. But anyway, we can move on to the next story.
All right, guys, let's talk about old Casacius coins. So this gentleman, and I'm not sure why you want to be public. I really don't. I mean, it's too late for some of us, but it's not too late for you. But well, it is now. So a guy bought a 1,000 Bitcoin denominated Casacius coin that is also a 1 ounce of gold, because he was looking to buy an ounce of gold mostly, but for some reason bought an ounce of gold with 1,000 Bitcoin on it, left it in a drawer for 2 years, and then realized that it's suddenly worth $1 million when Bitcoin hit $1,000 2 years later. Today, Bitcoin is at $50,000, and therefore this coin is now worth $50 million. I've read through the article. I understand Casacius coins fairly well. They actually have the number. So you can go and look this up. There are websites. There's multiple websites. The Casacius coin tracker. There are apparently 61,000 of them, but they are in different batches. Series 1, Series 2. Series 1s have all kinds of denominations, including the 1,001. You see it right here. This is literally his coin. So anyone can now track it. You can tell by the number. It's also the number in the picture. It's also one of 2 coins that is still active that was funded in December. And he said he bought it in December. Of course, it could have been funded earlier than that. Now, this is the full list of all the 1,000 denominated coins.
Well, the way, Tone, just to correct a little bit of what you said, the way Mike used to run this thing, you got sent the coins first, and then he funded it after you got them. So he wouldn't be a money transmitter. So if it got funded when he received it, basically.
Oh, really? So when
that's how it.
Yep. Oh, so he wasn't sending the Bitcoin through the mail. He funded it after you had the possession of the Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Of the physical coin.
Yep.
Wow, I actually did not know that.
Yeah. So he produces coins to this day. He just can't fund them because like FinCEN and all that. But
okay, but you can fund them yourself.
Yeah, but then it's like a little, like
Yeah, but then you're also trusting him that he didn't copy the private key. But you know what? If any of these, if he's gonna, steal any of them, it's gonna be the 1,000 Bitcoin ones, right? Because remember how these work, right? So one guy actually writes down the private key inside the coin. And you better hope it's actually there, right? Because if you go to open the coin and he forgot to put the private key in, you got a big problem on your hands, especially if it's 1,000 Bitcoin. So there are only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I think there is like one on the next page. 6, yeah. There's only 6 active Casacius coins with 1,000 on them. This is his, so it was funded on this day. So that means he would have purchased it earlier in December. He would have needed it to arrive at his house, and then he would have funded it. So this is what I was curious about, right? Because here's the deal on Casacius coins, guys. They're generally not a good investment. It was a good investment for him because he didn't really even know about Bitcoin until years later. He just got lucky. But these Casacius coins, they always came with a pretty big premium. The error coins, for example, there's about 5,000 of those, and a lot of them have been redeemed. And those are the coins where he misspelled his own name in the hologram. Those were going for a premium of up to 4 Bitcoin. So to buy 1 Bitcoin in this physical form would cost you 4 Bitcoin. Now, this was happening when it kind of right after it launched. He was selling these things with 1 Bitcoin on them that were worth $1 for $4 because it cost him, to make the coin. It cost him to ship the coin. So they originally came at a 4x premium. And even in 2013-14, they were still, being sold and traded between people at a 3 to 4x premium. Today, that premium will barely crack 2x. So when he paid for this, it was probably early December. And then he had to get it in the mail, and then it was funded. So if you actually go back and look at the price of Bitcoin back then, in early December, because it does take time to ship, the value of a Bitcoin was probably close to $3. Now, the ounce of gold was also about $1,000 back then, and maybe a little bit higher. So it's possible he got a really, really good deal, and he didn't overpay too much. But had he bought only the Bitcoin, which in this case he would not have, he would have probably had close to like 1,200 Bitcoin instead of 1,000. So in general, these things, if you bought them a long time ago, but they're becoming great collector's items. But the value of a Bitcoin starts to outweigh the collector value. But still, if you can get one of those error coins for 2 Bitcoin with 1 Bitcoin on it, it probably does have that kind of premium. Any thoughts on this, guys?
Yeah, I know it wasn't necessarily like the best decision because he could have bought more Bitcoin. But the thing that I've noticed about these Casacius coins and some others is that it's a lot easier to hold because it requires you to actually peel the sticker and input the private key into like a wallet and then redeem it and so on. So the interesting thing about this dynamic is that you are paying a premium, but you end up holding longer because of the bother of like peeling the sticker and doing things like that. So that said, there have been like coins like Casacius where like the private key was stolen and absconded and everything else. There was one that I bought for like 2 Bitcoin many years ago that they basically kept the private keys, and then they claimed that they were hacked and those funds are gone from my coin. So I still have the physical coin, but it's worthless because, well, I mean, I don't know, maybe somebody will pay something for it. But
when you paid for it, did you expect the Bitcoin to be on it?
Oh yeah, it was on it when I paid for it. This was back in like 2014 when I bought it. So
wait, so you're saying someone peeled the hologram, saw the private key, and then put it back on, or
no. What they did was when they etched it onto the coin, and this was a different type of etching and stuff like that.
Oh, it wasn't a Casacius coin then.
No, it was different, and
Okay.
yeah, I mean it was a beautiful looking coin. I think it was like an Adam Smith or something like that, and yeah, it looked great. It's just that they were scammers. So and they were like, they had like a 9-month window where they were like refunding people. I've contacted them. They're complete scammers. They wouldn't give me back my money. So and I emailed them. They never responded. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah,
I'm a little bitter about that. If you can't tell, that's 2 Bitcoins, like $100,000 right now.
Yeah, that sucks. But the Casacius coins have not yet been, have not had any incidents that I know of like that. So these are still, have been considered pretty honest. This one here, someone like added a lot more Bitcoin to it.
Yeah, that happens, a decent amount. The 1AGs are the silver ones, and the silver ones were in great demand back in 2013. I actually got some like right before the FinCEN shut them down. So there was like a premium right after that. But yeah, you're right about the premium. It has fluctuated significantly, but it's gone down in dollar terms. So yeah.
I did not mean to export an Excel sheet with 20,000 lines of code.
Yeah, it's gone up in dollar terms, but gone down in Bitcoin terms. So,
oh man. Well, look, I'm pretty interested in this whole thing. It's kind of psychologically bears a lot of parallels with NFTs, in that there's something fundamentally irrational about it, but at the same time, something human about it. So it makes sense to own one if you understand how humans work. Which is presumably why a lot of people I know have these Casacius coins. I'm thinking, is it possible to do something like this now, but where you can have a multi-sig setup in a way where there's less trust based on...
I was about to drop Bobby Lee's name and Ballet Wallet.
They had a similar one with Titan. They had one like that, but nobody wanted it. They wanted the private key under the coin, so it'd be a bearer instrument. Because if it's multi-sig and they control one of the keys, then if they go bankrupt, then you don't have it. So but yeah, there's a lot of Casacius collectors, and the thing is, it really is much easier to hold, and it's kind of a hack around that way. So just something to think about if you want to do your own.
I guess I'm just whataboutism when it comes to how does he generate the private keys? Does he just have an offline Linux machine or something?
Yeah, he's one of the early people that did that changed that got custom addresses. Basically, you roll as many numbers until you get a certain prefix. So 1AU is all the gold coins, AU being the symbol for gold. 1AG are all the silver coins, and that AG is the symbol for periodic table symbol for silver, and so on. So I'm not sure. The brass ones, I think, have a different numbering or address scheme. But yeah, I mean, Mike's actually a coder, from what I understand.
So he was using Vanity Gen or something.
Yeah. I think he's one of the early Vanity Gen people, because he wanted it for this reason.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, I gotta mute sometimes because I'm like in the middle of a construction zone. It is insane. So I believe these are the highest premium of the coins. These are the error coins because the initial batch, he misspelled his own name in the hologram. So these are the actual premium coins. Looks like there's about 4,000 or 5,000 of them still active. I'm a little surprised this many coins remain active. Only 20,000 of the 60,000 have been redeemed.
Well, I mean, if you redeem it, then the premium goes away. So it kind of sucks.
Yeah, I know, but like it's still like as the value of Bitcoin rises, I mean, eventually you're gonna want to.
It's a way to like distribute risk for some people, right? You keep some in Casacius coins, you keep some on a hardware wallet. You know, like, so, you know, worst comes to worst, you have something physical that you can bring with you.
But it's objectively no different to a hardware wallet with a mnemonic inside it.
Yeah.
That doesn't have a passphrase or a pin.
It's just more cumbersome to get it out of there. The interesting thing about that news article is now that coin it was graded by our coin company and everything, but it is the highest value numismatic coin in the world. It's like no other coin in the world has a value greater than this one, which is.
What about the $1 trillion coin?
If that comes to pass, then it would obviously beat it. But I wouldn't sit on it. Like, I think this will pass it at some point. So, but yeah, they graded it, and it's kind of interesting because there's like 3 coin grading services, and the top 2 always kind of refuse to grade these like Casacius coins and so on. And Annex was the one that would always grade it. This is the first time I've heard of PCGS grading it. So, you know, it being sort of like this, like, you know, very famous coin, I imagine this would go for a significant premium just because of its historical value and so on.
Yeah, maybe, especially if he's the last holdout, right? There's 4 others.
They are. And, you know, I mean, like the process of getting it like graded is like very stressful because you don't have possession of it. And I mean, can you imagine like trusting somebody with $48 million? Or I mean, now it's like 50 million, but you know, like.
And where they can plausibly deny having stolen it afterwards, they can say, "Oh, it was Casacius. He kept a track of his."
I mean,
no, that's not gonna fly.
Well, the thing is, like, you have, you know, you have that's how grading of coins works. Is they check for all the flaws and things like that. So, yeah, man, crazy stuff.
All right. So speaking of more crazy stuff. Let's talk a little bit about the Liquid sidechain and what happened. I am wearing my Blockstream shirt, and of course, Blockstream is the company whose developers envisioned sidechains and then built the Liquid sidechain as an option for building things like smart contracts and other, you know, scaling-ish things for the Bitcoin blockchain. So there was a hard fork. I'm gonna read a little bit. So it did come back. So here's the first statement, the initial statement on October 5th. As part of today's planned hard fork upgrade to deploy the long-awaited dynamic federation features of the Liquid network, an unexpected issue occurred, causing block signer nodes failing. Anyway, it went to a default system, and the default system basically meant blocks weren't going to be processed until, you know, things got resolved. So once 11 of the 15 functionalities have upgraded, so they were waiting for like one more to upgrade, the system was going to come back online. When it did come back online, it basically cleared all of the 24 plus hours of no blocks in about 2 blocks, basically because there's only about 2 to 3 transactions on the Liquid sidechain per block, and each block is 1 minute apart on average, or actually it's supposed to be 1 minute apart exactly, because there's no mining involved in the Liquid sidechain. Here is the official statement as of the 6th of October, I believe. Yeah, as of yesterday, this is the official statement. You guys can go ahead and please read it over on the blog.liquid.net. Again, this is, I should probably go to the Blockstream overall. I am a supporter of Blockstream. I have my hat, and shout out to Samson for sending me a couple of Jade hardware wallets, which we will be giving away at the Understanding Bitcoin conference coming up in Dubai. Samson himself will also be there, and Adam Back will let me know today he wants to come. He's trying to come, but scheduling and COVID travel are making things difficult. So I want to talk a little bit about the Liquid network. Let's start with currently nobody uses it except Tether and maybe a few others. I heard there is an NFT service has already been built or about to launch on Liquid. I personally don't really use it. I know Blockstream uses it because they have a hat token built on top of Liquid that you could use to buy a hat with. So what do you guys know about the Liquid sidechain? I know I have been promoting it a lot, though I've never actually used it. There's gonna be some demos of the Liquid sidechain in Dubai coming up next week. So hopefully I'll be able to teach everyone else more. But to me, this is interesting because Ethereum and other shitcoins are not going away. And as much as the Bitcoin people hate the fact that the rest of the world is stupid, eventually the value that Ethereum presents, which is basically an ability to create a scam coin, will eventually need to migrate to Bitcoin, right? Because otherwise you're creating Ethereum hodlers instead of Bitcoin hodlers. So I don't have a problem with the Liquid sidechain. It doesn't have a shitcoin, in my opinion, which is also debatable. Let's go with you. I don't know, Jimmy, Lex. I don't know who wants to go first on this one.
I mean, this is kind of what happens when it's like a little bit more centralized, federated, and that's what Liquid is. So you're going to have like little incidents like this because it is more or less software written by Blockstream. It does have some interesting properties that I think are really cool, like the fact that you can get confidential transactions and atomic swaps and all kinds of stuff. And you're going to have downtime like this because it is kind of dependent on that rather than because like people need to sign and so on, and something went wrong, so it was down for a while. It functions a little bit like a proof of stake system in the sense that certain people need to sign things at the right time in order for the network to progress. And basically the signing was off for a little bit, and that's kind of what happened. But it's like it is a federated sort of semi-centralized kind of system, which which it is what it is, and it's very useful for some people, obviously. But yeah, it's not Bitcoin. That's what I would say.
Yeah, I mean, they never made any claims of it being decentralized, though ironically, it does end up in practice being more decentralized than all of the DeFi networks, which is, I remember, I think it was Samson quipped once, Liquid can't be considered DeFi because it's not centralized enough, which was quite a funny thing. I mean, but it just looks like, without the embarrassment, this event, it just looks like what happens in shitcoins every day, which is there's a disaster of some sort or some sort of bug, and then it gets fixed in a coordinated and centralized fashion. And then you move on like nothing happened. And that's fine with Liquid because it never made any claim of being a network that couldn't do something like that due to being decentralized. Like when Ethereum and projects like that do stuff like that, that's an admission of the fact that they're lying about the architecture of their network, because they shouldn't be able to do stuff like hard fork out the DAO and things like that. You shouldn't be able to do that if you're running unstoppable code, but you can because you're being dishonest about what your network does. So I think, I don't know if I agree that shitcoins are not going away, that Ethereum's not going away. I think they all peaked in 2016 and 2017. And this bull run right now is seeing like all of the new Bitcoiners that have come into the space, like this black Bitcoin billionaire, like we were just talking about it, about how there's like there's a six-digit amount of people just in that group alone, right? And all of these people are Bitcoin max. Every time I talk to them, they've got cold cards. They know about self-custody. Like they know what they're doing. And then you have what Twitter and El Salvador are doing. It's not just Bitcoin only, but it's Lightning as well. This time around, I think the shitcoin area of crypto now just looks like a smaller, less relevant part that belongs to just dysfunctional gambling addicts. And you're always like, these people that literally live in casino hotels and they're put up for free by the casino. They'll just let them live there for free because they just make so much money off them, being gambling addicts. Like, all your meals are free, everything. I think you're never going to get rid of that. And I don't think it's something that needs to come over to Bitcoin ever, because if you need that to happen in Bitcoin, you need people to get just utterly wrecked. Like, shitcoins will get you wrecked, but if you get wrecked on a Bitcoin standard, that's something different. Like, if you're trying to play around with scam stuff and you're doing it on Bitcoin layers and you're using Bitcoin to do it in some manner, not only are you going to lose if those kinds of scams come over into this part of the network, but you're going to watch the value of what you lost go up by an order of magnitude every couple of years, which is just, you can't survive like that for long. I think like part of the whole idea of hyper Bitcoinization is this general growing up that people have to do, and an end of the infantilization of the fiat standard. And that hopefully means that generally people become more responsible financially, and it's just more a part of our culture. So I don't think we need to pander to this degenerate part of our human nature, because I think it's going to become less common, at least. I think that's not an unrealistically optimistic outlook on how hyper Bitcoinization will affect things going forward.
Jimmy, your thoughts on mechanics views?
I don't have much to add there.
All right. Yeah, look, it's a tough spot. It really is a tough spot. And I can't agree that shitcoins peaked in 2017, because like Ethereum is now 3x the price of that. And and there's like more hype about other insanity like Solana and Cardano and Polkadot, and maybe BitConnect will come back, who knows. But so I don't see that stuff going away. And just to answer something in the comments, and Mechanic commented on this, but people just have a hard problem understanding it, where someone sarcastically says, we love centralization, right, guys? No, we love reality. And the reality is everything other than Bitcoin has elements of centralization. At least Blockstream and the liquid sidechain developers aren't lying about the level of centralization versus elements of decentralization in their, it's not even a blockchain, in their product versus a company like Ethereum, right? Like that's the difference.
This is one thing that needs to be highlighted over and over again. It's, again, what we went over in the Monero episode. It's not only if you're a shitcoin and you can acknowledge the fact that Bitcoin was really centralized at the beginning, because it just was a tiny community and everything so much. Satoshi was the gatekeeper, right? And then even for early Gavin kind of was a kind of dictator of what would happen in Bitcoin's code base. Like, it's only because nothing like Bitcoin existed when Bitcoin came around, so it became more decentralized, and then it managed to reach a threshold where anyone that was interested in decentralization would naturally go towards Bitcoin, and anyone that isn't would go somewhere else. And that's why all the shitcoins always have features rather than decentralization, because that's all they can really claim. They can claim to be faster or more private or anything like that. So you don't get anywhere trying to build anything decentralized in a world that, in a context where Bitcoin already exists, because that's where all the energy goes. If you want to be able to run a node, if you want decentralization, you don't start a new project. You go to the one that already serves that function, like that's already reached escape velocity, because you can't bootstrap it anymore, because the context makes it impossible. Like, I always say, Bitcoin would not be able to have gotten where Bitcoin is if Bitcoin had existed, because you needed a world without it to create an environment where it could start that positive feedback loop. So there's no point trying to create other decentralized networks, not really in this realm. Like, it's the ultimate decentralized network. Like, do you know what I'm saying? It's kind of hard to imagine a scenario where you can build anything else that's in the same realm. Like, it would have to be something a completely different application, not a monetary thing at all.
Right, but real quick before we move on to the next topic, We got to do a liquid, like a whole show on liquid. Hopefully I'll have some videos from Understanding Bitcoin about it. But liquid is a tiny scale, like, I don't want to say it's a scaling solution. It's a scaling addition, right? Like you give up a little bit of decentralization by converting your Bitcoin into liquid Bitcoin, but I don't mind transacting in liquid Bitcoin. First of all, the blocks are every minute, so it does confirm faster. Those blocks are a lot cheaper. They're clearly very empty. The transaction fee in those blocks gets denominated down to 0.1 Satoshi, I believe, instead of 1 Satoshi. Or it's one of those. It was like, I got to double check on that one, actually. So yeah, I know the blocks are every minute, but also the capacity is bigger. I think it's either a 10 megabyte or still a 1 megabyte block with the lower fee. But the more important part is the transactions inside Liquid are private by default. It is Monero style privacy. But now you got to, make a decision. Where do you want your privacy? Do you want your privacy on a whole other blockchain token like Monero that also nobody uses, but has currency risk as it keeps devaluing versus Bitcoin? Or do you want that same privacy inside the Liquid sidechain? And this was the argument that we made in the Monero video. If all that matters to you is privacy in your transaction, then the Liquid sidechain is probably more interesting to you than a currency like Monero, because the claims of Monero's decentralization are not that much greater than the Liquid sidechain not stealing your coins. While at the same time, the privacy is about equal. Meanwhile, you are not at risk of currency devaluation of the underlying asset because Liquid is pegged to Bitcoin.
Yeah, so I want to say as well, I mean, Liquid was kind of conceived of, a lot of the Federation members were, they were exchanges, right? And the idea was, there were, at least one of the appeals of it was, if you're moving coins around from centralized entity to centralized entity, particularly for, well, one example would be to take advantage of arbitrage opportunities and things like that. Your coins are custodially held in either case anyway. If you're moving from Bitfinex to Coinbase or something like that, why bloat the Bitcoin blockchain with it? You're not using Bitcoin and taking advantage of its decentralization anyway, because it's being held by a third-party custody. Why don't you let these third-party custodians set up a network that makes everything not bloat the Bitcoin blockchain? Because you've already thrown away the trust model that, if you say we love centralization, right, guys? You're being sarcastic about that. If to these people it doesn't matter. Like as I said, they're taking advantage of third-party custodians and doing things in that way. They don't need to come back onto the Bitcoin chain, then come back off again. That's not doing anything for them. So it makes sense to use these sorts of, it's kind of like Swift for Bitcoin or something. It's like a banking network that exists on top of Bitcoin that's, honest about being centralized, and it makes use for certain applications. It doesn't degrade Bitcoin in any way. And to be honest, it kind of, I don't know, if you have some sort of instinctive fear against the thing, or even some rational fear against it, that's okay. You don't need to use it, but it will make Bitcoin have greater utility for everyone else because it keeps blocks slightly emptier. So it makes transaction fees slightly cheaper. And that's not a problem until mining rewards start really trying up and we have to actually start subsidizing them. But that's a whole nother topic.
Yeah, guys. So to learn more, because we are going to move on to the next topic, check out my interview with Adam Back, the CEO of Blockstream, about all things that they're doing, including the hardware wallet Jade and Lightning implementation and Liquid and the mining that they're doing. It's all in this video. You can find it. I did it about 2 weeks ago. You can just go to all my videos and you can find it right there. Streamed 2 weeks ago. All right, final topic. Let's get a little bit of an update. This is like an old Bitcoin show. Let's get a little bit of an update on the Lightning Network, which has now crossed 3,000 Bitcoin in lockup, which is, it's soon gonna have more Bitcoin than the Liquid sidechain, right? So more and more Bitcoin is getting locked up in these other layers besides Bitcoin on chain. and we now broke 3,000 Bitcoin in the Lightning Network.
Yeah, it's
you're
amazing.
not sharing your screen.
Oh, my bad. Oh, wow.
It's
I was
nice.
sharing my screen that whole time. My bad. This is a
It
rough
was-
show.
One of my favorite things about Lightning was the slow but steady growth of it, because for a long time there was less Bitcoin in the Lightning Network than, average Bitcoiner I know had in their stash or in their hodl stash. Like, it was so small and so carefully done and so much warning. Even today, like, you open LND, you get a ton of warning messages like, you're going to lose everything, don't do it. Like, BTC Pay servers like, don't run Lightning, it's too risky. Like, they've been so cautious with this thing with such a small amount of money committed to it by everyone. There's such a mature way to approach something, versus the shitcoin casino where it's just hundreds of millions of dollars 3 days later. Oh my God, we snorted all the money we raised up our nose. Like, it's just so nice to see. But now we've reached some sort of, again, runaway threshold. 3,000 Bitcoin is a lot of money, and Lightning's proven itself capable of it. Lightning's incredible, guys. It's doing so well.
All right, Jimmy, any thoughts on Lightning?
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy because it crossed the 2,000 Bitcoin threshold maybe 3 months ago. So it's going up at sort of this exponential pace. And if you've played with Lightning, it's gotten a lot more reliable. I mean, some of the payments fail and so on, and that's normal for any sort of decentralized thing. This is why people want to centralize, because they want more reliability and so on. But it's rather amazing, and obviously El Salvador has a lot to do with this. There's a lot of plebs going on. Also, the 3,000 that's in these channels, these are public channels only. So there can be private channels that have lots of Bitcoin on them. So this is what we know about, because these nodes sort of broadcast the channel capacity and things like that. But there's probably more than 3,000 Bitcoin on the Lightning Network, and it's rather powerful. It continues to grow. I did get to talk to Elizabeth Stark from Lightning Labs about this, and yeah, I mean, things are getting absolutely crazy in the Lightning world. I see adoption going up on sort of the sweet part of the S curve right now. So it'll be very interesting to see when it crosses 4,000, which I think will take even shorter. I think we crossed 2,000 maybe in July or something like that. So I'm guessing 4,000. We cross 4,000 next month, sometime in November, which would be really crazy. And then we'll get to 10,000 in February of next year or something like that. It'll be some crazy growth.
All right, there you go. So we're gonna move on to the price. I mean, there's not really much else. This has been not a crazy eventful week in the world of crypto. I do want to do a little public service announcement. I know this article is a little bit old, but one of my friends was a victim to this. Be very careful which APIs you are running to trade your crypto for you.
Yeah.
This is why I try to teach people how to trade on their own. There are lots of services out there that say, hey, follow my trading system. We have just APIs. We can auto execute your trades in your account. Your crypto is not at risk. And it turns out your crypto is at risk. And some people don't listen to advice that you should only trade with 10% of your Bitcoin stash. Many people do it the opposite way. They only hold on to 10% and trade with 90% of their crypto or Bitcoin specifically. And be very careful, guys. Anytime, I don't know much about the tech behind this mess, but I'm always scared to let someone else, trade the money in my account, even if I think they don't have the ability to steal it. Any thoughts on this?
Yeah, don't do it. Don't do it. I've had so many people contact me about this stuff that are just unable to buy and hold Bitcoin for whatever reason. They always have to get smart with it. And they'll say, look, there's this guy with a proprietary trading algo. He's got a Telegram group that he takes 60% of the profits, but he'll definitely win with it. And there's all these nasty things you have to consider. Like, if they get enough APIs together, then usually with exchanges, you can't via an API limit them to one trading pair. And as like BTC Tether or something that's a high liquidity trading pair. And what they can do is if they get enough people's accounts under their control, they can find some incredibly low liquidity shitcoin buy a bunch of it themselves, put it up for sale at an incredibly high price, and pump it all the way up to that high price, sell it, then they've got a bunch of money in their own account and just withdraw it. And then what are you going to do? Who are you going to cry to? Binance or any of these people? They're not going to care, and they have no reason to care. You gave your trading, like, there's nothing, arguably, I mean, that is some sort of market manipulation, but what? It's in crypto. The law is not sophisticated to understand any of this stuff yet. You'd never could expect your money returned to you in that situation. So just buy and hold Bitcoin. Is it really that difficult?
All right. Anything else to add, Jimmy?
Yeah, I mean, be careful with the stuff. The people are always trying to scam you. I think there's a Nakamoto Institute article from a while back. Everyone is a scammer. This is true. This is why you need to be self-sovereign, because people are always angling to sort of take advantage of you. So be very careful.
All right, guys. Happy time. Bitcoin price is rising, though not this morning, but we are still doing very well. Today is Thursday. The week is more than halfway in. I need to get ready for my flight, and I need to get ready for the conference. So maybe a stream from the airport if I get through security quickly enough. Other than that, you won't hear from me for potentially a little while because it's a long journey to Dubai. So the weekly chart, try to update you guys into the weekend. The weekly chart is looking great. We are currently sitting at a new swing high close. We also made a new swing high versus the high of August. We are still in a battle to overtake the highs of April. We just got to get above 60, which shouldn't be that challenging considering where we are right now. So everything here is bullish. From the moving averages, Lucid SARS, the MRI has turned green, but you still need that green star candle, which will come next week if we start trading above current swing high, in which case we are close to 60K, and then everything becomes straight bullish for a breakout. The last hurdle is the MRI resistance line, which I don't see being a huge issue. It might get rejected there back to the moving average, but I do believe it will break sometime this year. Our 3-day chart, my bet with Joe Sass, has not yet been won. Bitcoin did not spend over 24 hours in a 3-day span above 55,000, so I will win that in due time, but probably while I'm in Dubai. This is a very bullish chart. This is our Consensio chart, and it is 100% bullish allocated into Bitcoin based on the metrics of Tyler Jenks's Consensio. This is the 1-hour chart, and this is the 1-hour chart, so I need the daily chart. This is the daily chart. I warned everyone that the MRI top was coming on Friday. I was really hoping that today was going to be one more up day, and then that would be the perfect opportunity to take some profit. Today has started to fall. The day is not yet over. It is still possible to make a cleaner MRI top with a high later today or tomorrow, but generally this is not a bad place to look for a little bit of a pullback. Nothing is perfect. You got the orange arrow warning. We will get the MRI top in about 12 hours. Hopefully it'll be closer to the actual top than somewhere down in the 52,000 range. The daily chart has very clean support, but you're not going to like where it is. The clean support is the 50-period moving average, which is kind of far at the moment. But unfortunately, we did not go up high enough above the prior swing high. So because we did not go up high enough above the prior swing high, we would have needed closer to 60,000, at least 58.5, at least, in order for the pullback to find support at the prior swing high. Because we topped barely above the prior swing high, I do not consider 53,000 any kind of critical support. And that means the next line of support is all the way down at the 50-period moving average, which in a couple of days will still sit below 48,000. So be a little bit careful here. I am generally more bullish right now than bearish overall. I'm not really expecting it to go all the way into the 40s, but something like the low 50s is very, very possible. This arrow, while not perfect, is still on track. And I still believe that Bitcoin will break 60,000 later this month, then have a more sustained pullback into November and close out the year on an incredible bullish note. The 1 hour chart didn't perfectly top with the MRI, but consolidated a little bit. We did get an MRI buy 2 hours ago, was hoping this would reverse us. The last hour, clearly disappointed. So unless we get above this area, like in the next 2 hours, there will probably be a slightly bigger pullback as, you know, the FOMO and momentum are slowing down. GBTC premium continues to be insanely low. I still believe this premium will go to zero. So buying GBTC at this point should pick up an extra 10 to 15% eventually, though that eventually has been dragging on for almost the entire year. Bitcoin dominance took a bit of a hit today. It was on a nice roll, but it really needs to go significantly higher. No comments on gold. Oil, I am very bullish on oil. You guys know that. The S&P 500, look, once again, Bitcoin is not correlating with the S&P 500 very well. I'm very surprised that the S&P 500 is having such a good day. That is a green star candle, similar to Bitcoin. It's breaking both moving averages. We're not out of the woods yet. Like I said in yesterday's stream, I will assume the S&P is heading to the 200-day moving average until we get a sustained close above the prior swing high and above both moving averages. We are above one moving average. We still have another. We still have the swing high. And eventually these moving averages will need to cross over, though that is not a necessary condition for me to be bullish. So one of the three hurdles has been met, and I would only be bullish the S&P 500 after we meet the other two, though the MRI being in a bullish trade is also a good thing. Okay, that is pretty much it. I am off to Dubai to host Understanding Bitcoin, along with speaking at an unreasonable number of conferences. We have Coin Agenda, we have Expo 2020, which is coming a year late. We have the Golf Blockstream Week. Yeah, that's the same thing. And we have AIM Summit, World Blockchain Summit, the WOW Summit, and what is this? Future Blockchain Summit. I'm speaking at all of them. All of them, yes. So
they're all in the same country. What the heck?
They're all in the same city.
What's going on over there? Why would it be? Why are there so many?
This is particularly surprising given what you told me, Tone, that the emir or something has said you're not allowed to discuss cryptocurrency in the UAE anymore. Isn't that
right? So this is great. So new regulation just came down apparently in the UAE that you're not allowed to talk about cryptocurrency without permission from the central bank, which is also ironic because the central bank of the UAE is the currency is pegged to the dollar, so it's not like they're doing much.
They're running a stable coin,
right? So I mean, we're so all the conferences, mine included, is looking to navigate this regulation. So we're not actually talking about money. We're talking about the technology behind Bitcoin. So we'll see how we can get away with it. But we are under the WOW Summit. So either all of this is going to happen or all of this is going to get canceled, and I'll find out after I land on Friday.
All right. Well, I booked my flight already. I hope it doesn't get canceled.
Well, we'll still have fun. Don't worry. We can still do videos and educate people on how to use Start9. Speaking of, on the affiliate page, you will see Start9. Lex, Bitcoin Mechanic, is part of the Start9 team. He will be there doing a demo on how to use the Start9 Embassy. And if you are interested in the Start9 Embassy, you can pick it up right there off the affiliate page. Embly is also one of our sponsors. They're going to be our coffee sponsor at Understanding Bitcoin, and so is Blockstream, but I don't have anything for them. You can thank them all, here. Should probably throw a Start 9 thing there as well. They are funding your expenses. So yeah, check it out. We still have room. Very small event. Yeah, so it's going to be, it will be interesting.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, man.
They do have a lot of regulation. We'll see if we do more events in Dubai. It'll be interesting. We're part of the WoW Summit, so if you're interested in NFTs, you will also have entry to the WoW Summit. They're also organized. Oh yeah, and I gotta see which of our speakers want to speak on their panel to try and orange pill the NFT people. All right, guys. That's it. You can stick around for the financial summit as well. Oh, Jimmy, programming blockchain.
Yeah, so I am speaking at the Texas Blockchain Summit tomorrow, and that will have 3 U.S. senators, a couple of representatives, a lot of Texas legislators, and things like that. But that's
which
that's
senators?
coming up.
Which senators?
It will be the 2 Texas senators, Cruz and Cornyn, and Cynthia Lummis will also be there.
Oh, awesome! She's coming.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, Warren Davidson will be there. I believe there's one more congressman or member of Congress that's going to be there. But yeah, it's going to be an amazing event, it looks like. And I will be interviewing Ted Cruz on stage. So wish me luck. The other thing that I am going to plan to be at is TabConf in Atlanta, November 4th, 5th, and 6th. I am running my programming blockchain course November 2nd and 3rd. If you are interested, please apply now. I don't have anything scheduled after that, so this is probably the last chance for you this year to learn, how to program Bitcoin, basically, or at least the blockchain part of Bitcoin from me. It's in Atlanta, November 2nd and 3rd. Please apply if you want to do it. I still have some scholarships that I can give away and so on. And yeah, please. And I believe there's going to be some filming for a mini documentary that's being made. So yeah, just some things there. Also, I have my books, Programming Bitcoin, Thank God for Bitcoin, and the Little Bitcoin book. Programming Bitcoin is the programmer's book. The Little Bitcoin book is a primer for people that are, completely unfamiliar with Bitcoin. And Thank God for Bitcoin is a moral argument for Bitcoin from a Christian perspective. So all of these are available on Amazon. And yeah, please take a look at them. And yeah, I don't know if you guys have used the Lightning Tips feature, but I'm thinking about trying to sell my books using like Lightning Tips on Twitter at some point, but we'll see.
Yep. Shout out to Jimmy's course, Programming Bitcoin. I took it a couple of months ago. My head still hurts. No joke.
I don't know if that's the greatest endorsement, but sure.
Well, it speaks to the amount of information that's packed into it. It's a lot. Like you'll need some caffeine to get through it, but at the same time, it's months and months of stuff put into 2 days. So if you can really focus and keep your head there. It's such a lot of bang for your buck. I learned so much doing that. I'm gonna just quickly ask as well. My channel, it's pretty barren at the moment. My YouTube channel. If you just search for Bitcoin Mechanic, one word on YouTube, you'll get it. If you put a space between those words, it will just come up with Jimmy Song's channel, where he interviewed me, because algorithms. The channel is under attack pretty much. I've got some bogus copyright claims against it, and because I have under 1,000 subs, there's no one I can appeal to if it gets deleted, because Google won't give you a human being to respond to you if your channel doesn't have a certain amount of scale to it. So if you can help me getting over 1,000 subs, I'm aware that I haven't done a video for a month, so feel free to request any content. I like my main the most enjoyable thing for me is making videos about some technical thing to do with Bitcoin. But anything goes that's loosely related to Bitcoin. If I don't know it, so much the better. I have to learn it. So yeah, please head over to that channel and subscribe to it and request content. and that'll help me keep the channel going.
All right, guys. Yeah, please follow Mechanic on. You can find them. You can, if you go to my channel and you're on my channel, you can go to the list of all the YouTube channels that I follow. Try not to judge me, and you'll find them on that list.
You got Awaken with JP. That's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, but some of these, I mean, like I've had my YouTube channel for a long time. Like some of the things you follow, and then you're like, and also some of the things you follow, you also meet the people, right? So like as I meet other YouTubers as I travel, they're like, well, why is Tone following this person? Well, like, yeah, because I probably met them. And if someone is, if they have a more popular YouTube channel than mine and they followed me, what am I going to do? I have to follow them back as well. So there's a lot of people that I follow. A lot of them are friends of mine. So check it out, and you'll find Mechanics channel there as well.
Thanks, man. And
I can't recommend BTC Sessions channel enough. Okay. By the way, I also have mad problems finding the Understanding Bitcoin YouTube channel. So I have to go through my own list of who I follow in order to get to it.
Yeah, YouTube's algos make things really annoying. Like no one can find my channel. If
Yeah.
you search,
yeah,
go for
yeah,
it.
and I don't. You have more subscribers than this channel.
Yeah. I'll subscribe to Understanding Bitcoin, man. You need 1,000, otherwise it will get deleted, and all you can get is automated responses. You'll never get a human.
Yeah, guys, come on, help me out here. Please follow Understanding Bitcoin so that this channel doesn't get deleted. It has all the videos from the prior conference, and we're gonna put the new videos on here as well from the conference coming up.
Yeah. One day we will have decentralized YouTube alternative on platforms like Embassy OS by Start9, or something incentivized by Lightning that can be, spun up easily on any hardware. We will have it, but we don't yet. So we still have to depend on these blasted platforms like YouTube, and it's a pain.
Yep. All right, guys. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all on the next one.
He had to lend us this song.